What's up, everybody? Well, I got another FIREBAT mini PC gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna try ourselves out some Red Dead Redemption. But so far, this game seems like it's pretty hard to run on these weaker systems. I figured, like on the Steam Deck and everything else for a 14-year-old game, even though I know they added some stuff to spice it up, I figured it would run like constant 60 no problem. But this game seems to suffer from some crazy CPU bottlenecks, which is pretty weird considering this game's like 14, 15 years old, and it can even run on the Switch, which we all know the Switch's CPU is a literal potato. I mean, it was the second it came out. It's especially a potato by today's standards. I mean, if you cut my phone down to one core, I feel like it would probably still outdo the Switch in various tasks. That's how far behind that thing is. But unfortunately, this PC port seems to be a little overpriced. I mean, it does come with a little DLC, I know that. It's not just the base game. It's got like some other thing that comes with it. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it also seems to run a little weird. I figured this kind of game would be easy as pie for like the Steam Deck and my Ally. My Ally actually can't even match the Steam Deck's performance, if you can believe that. Maybe it was because I was in like a slightly different area, but I ended the Steam Deck video, I think, right when I got to that town that I ran around in, and I don't remember dropping down to no 40 FPS. I think I was like, the lowest was like 53 or 52 or something like that. So I'm very curious how this guy will do. This thing is usually a wild card. As long as it doesn't run out of VRAM, it's usually right in between the Steam Deck and the Ally X. So let's not waste any more time, and let's also hope OBS works. It didn't really work for the old school or the newer school too, so hopefully it works for this one. Let's go find out. All right, so we're gonna try 1080p here. It might not work. Probably won't work, but we're gonna try it anyway. I mean, it'll play. I just don't know if it'll give us playable FPS. But that's what I want to see. Usually this thing slots in between the Steam Deck and Ally, but the Ally kind of underperformed. But anyway, let's go see what this guy can do. All right, here we are in the game, and it definitely seems to get playable frame rates, but the frame times definitely seem a little bit wonky. Not as bad as they usually are, but let's play for a while and see what happens. Sometimes it takes a little while for that weird stutter we see to rear its ugly little head.
Follow Charlie. He's a good one to sniff out trouble. Stick next to the dog, mister.
Alright, let's walk down this way like we did on the Ally, and I think we did this on the Steam Deck too. But we'll walk down here, go to this house, see what's what. Still playable FPS, and so far so good. The frame times are a little weird, but I can deal with those. Those aren't that weird. I just hate when it starts doing this really bad wonky stutter shit, which will be obvious to point out when it happens, but I'll still mention it when it happens. Anyway, let's follow this dog. Seems like we got some issues up here. Oh, I think it's starting right now, actually. Yep, here it goes. Oh shit. That's the bad guy. Oops, oops, oops.
We're a good team, boy.
You're a terrible person. Alright, let's go collect our reward. But yeah, it sucks that it started doing that. So I'm glad I didn't just stop at 2 minutes. I played a little bit more just to see what it would do. So yeah, now it's not so playable anymore. I mean, some people might still be able to play like this, but I wouldn't have very much fun playing like this. Alright though, let us move ourselves along. Now tone it down to 900p. Although, even in the menu, the frame time's still doing wonky shit, so I'm willing to bet this is still probably not going to be too playable, but hey, I'm still going to try it out anyway. Because who knows, after a little bit of time playing, it might smooth itself out, we never know. But that is the bottom, so why don't we go find out. Here we go. Starting out, we definitely have some more FPS for sure, but we still have those weird wonky frame times. We're probably still using either too much VRAM or something's overheating. But I don't think it's overheating because I think when we turn it down to 720p it stops. So I think it is a VRAM thing and this is still too much. Windows must use a lot because we only have 4.
Oh, Mr. Marston, how are you doing today?
I'm well.
Yeah, one of these terrible frame times, it would actually be very playable FPS, especially for a system like this.
How are your ribs?
Fine. Little sore.
Yeah, it's not 60 plus, but half the time on this little guy, you're not going to get 60 plus in games. You're going to be 30, 40 most of the time.
You never did tell me how you met that Bill Williams.
Unless you tone the settings down like super low, then sometimes you can get over. But then the game looks kind of bad when you have it all blown up on a TV like this, but like I always say, most people aren't going to hook this up to a 4K monitor or TV or anything like that. They're going to hook it up to something realistic, like a 1080p or a 720p or something like that screen.
Your life in danger, but also threatening the lives of some people that I hold very dear.
Well, I apologize if I seem to be prying.
And I apologize for my reticence. Hope you believe me when I say that it's simply out of respect for you.
Of course, Mr. Marston. I understand that a city dweller such as yourself likes to have some exotic secrets, so us country folk are impressed.
I'm no city man, miss.
Yeah, but I saw you get on the train at Blackwater. You with those gentlemen in bowler hats?
I'm still no city man.
But I bet you can't ride, Mr. Marston.
I hate to take money from a lady, miss.
Oh, you won't be. I'll race you right now.
If it makes you happy.
We'll see.
All right, I'll show you how we ride around these parts. Come on, boys.
Come on.
On the count of 3. 3, 2, 1, go! I trust you're not gonna be a gentleman about
Alright.
this.
You don't know
Oh yeah,
me
I
at all,
messed
Mr.
this up
Bud.
real bad here.
Come on.
I think somehow I still won, but I think that's just because she slows down and waits for you eventually, giving you a chance to catch up. Otherwise, I don't think there'd be any damn way I would have caught her. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I do end up winning in the end. But again, I think they make it pretty easy. Oops, I hit this freaking button too much. He was like, fuck that shit, get off me. You're gonna act like that. You gotta remember, you gotta watch that stamina. Okay, now the horse just doesn't want to go. I'm hitting A here. Okay, there we go. That was a little wonky.
Go. Yeah.
Damn, it is windy as hell out there today. I can hear my screens going crazy. Hopefully I don't break them. I mean, I almost never open my windows since I have AC, but...
Let's go.
Alright, though, let's go move on. Well, now, here we go. We're putting it down to 720p low. And hopefully this works, but it looks like the frame times are actually okay now. But that's because we're only using 2.4 gigs of VRAM. I've always thought it's right around 2.5-ish is where it, like, draws the line and starts using too much and starts sucking. But anyway, let's hop into the game, though, before we get excited and make sure it actually does run properly. Well, now, here we go. 720p, low settings. And so far, it's doing a lot better. It still has a small amount of weird chop. But compared to what it was doing, I will take this any day of the week. This is actually very playable now. Although, I'd probably be annoyed by this normally had I not, had to deal with that other crap a little bit earlier. But this is actually quite nice now, in comparison. And I also close OBS completely once I do the can't record portion. I want to see if just having OBS in the background, even if it's not recording, fucks with it somehow. So we had 2.4 gigs of VRAM. Well, no, I think it was about the same for VRAM, so maybe it doesn't really use up any VRAM. I always thought it did a little bit. Games must have just started using a little bit more in the section I went to and gave me the placebo effect that that's what was happening. But nope. It's not looking like it now, unless we drop down like 2.3 once I stop.
Let's go.
I thought you said you could ride. This sure beats milking cow.
I'm no milkmaid. Oh yeah, that's a win. I'm pretty sure they make it easy to win. I mean, I fucked up a bunch and still won. If she would have gone full board the whole time, I don't think there would have been any way I could have caught up, but I'll still take the win. Winning always feels better than losing, even if they kind of just make it easy. As long as they don't just give you the win. Like, if she just, like, completely stopped, like, and got stuck in a tree or something like that, then I'd be like, okay, this doesn't even feel like I won anymore.
Mr. Marston, how are you?
Good, Miss McFarland. How are you?
I'm well. Would you mind riding with me to Armadillo? I've got to get some supplies and I could do with the company.
Of course.
You can take the reins. It wouldn't do for a terrifying bounty hunter such as yourself to be seen driven around by a woman.
Hop on up, Mr. Marston.
Oh, looks like I get to drive the wagon.
You're looking much better, considering you were almost buzzard food a couple days ago.
I have you to thank for that, miss.
So do tell me, have you needlessly risked your life since we last spoke?
No, miss. I have not.
Well, that's a relief. Perhaps there's hope for you yet.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Oh, there's always hope, Mr. Marston. You can't be a rancher in this kind of country if you don't believe that.
An admirable attitude, miss.
I suppose so. I can't think of any other way to stay sane, to be frank. What about you? Have you ever given up hope altogether?
Hope hasn't really entered into it. It's not really something I think about.
A peculiar outlook. I can't really say I understand you.
I can't always say I do either.
Oh, don't be so deliberately enigmatic.
I'm not, miss.
Yes, you are. You are being deliberately obscure as a substitute for having a personality.
I just know there are two theories to arguing with women, and neither one works.
I'm not even going to dignify that gibberish with a response. I think it's kind of funny I found you dying on the side of the road and now you're driving me into town.
Alright, time to move on. Alright, let's get some
Listen, I know that business
camera
is
reported
good,
gameplay
it's
here.
your business, but I don't know. You've been good to us, and I don't think you're a bad man. A little stupid, perhaps, but not rotten.
And it seems like it's running a lot better now that I turned OBS off too. Like just having it up in the background seems to make it like have games stutter. So that's interesting.
I really do. And if there was any other way
But I know that's not the cause of all of it because I've had that same stuttering crap happen while getting camera recorded gameplay too. Holy shit. Those guys were booking ass.
You never did tell me where you live.
I have a small holding up in Great Plains.
A farmer? Yeah, and I'm the Queen of England. And at what point during your day of hunting down outlaws do you find time to raise chickens?
Only been at it 3 years or so. I guess I'm kind of new to it.
You're telling me? So who's looking after this farm of yours right now?
Uncle. Well, he's not my uncle, as far as I know. Just an old dog who's as lazy as a lizard on a hot day. Kind of fella laboring under the delusion that age brings wisdom.
Sounds like the perfect person to leave in charge of your entire livelihood.
Go way back. And I didn't have a lot of choice.
I'd be getting back there if I was you.
That's what I'm trying to do, miss.
So this is Armadillo. Manhattan it is not. But it does okay for us. Most important thing for you right now is getting yourself into Dr. Johnson's office to purchase some medicine. First one's on me.
Thank you, miss. I'll pay you back.
I'm sure you shall. The doc's a good fellow. He saved your life, so be polite to him.
You got it.
Meet me in front of the general store when you're done.
But yeah, so far this thing is kicking the freaking Allies' ass in this game. I mean, it started out being stuttery and terrible, so I figured it was going to be a complete shit show, but 720p low versus low, the other one couldn't stay above 60 even. This one's getting like 144, maxing the game's FPS out in some spots.
Howdy, mister.
It's like, damn.
Thank you very much.
I cannot read that. I have no idea what button I'm supposed to push to open medicines. Is it this one? Nope, that's that. Nope, not that. Nope, that's kicking. Oh, no. That's aiming. The other thing is obviously shooting. No. Yep, I don't know.
Well, thanks for driving me.
I'll have to figure that one out.
Be able to enjoy the view from
I
lunch.
tried to read what it told me to do, but I physically couldn't see it. It was covering it up perfectly with like the CPU percentile thing.
Thank you for the medicine.
Why don't you have a look around Armadillo? You can always take a stagecoach back to the ranch later.
I might just do that. Travel safely, miss.
Try not to get
So maybe the Allies, just because it doesn't have like the latest drivers. On that thing, I just let the Asus drivers do their thing. I know I could probably download the drivers off of, you know, just AMD like I do on the Alienware and my Asus, but the Alienware had some issues, so I figured, you know what? Let's just let this thing have its custom drivers from fucking Asus. At least on something like that, I can understand it needing some extra help. I have more honor!
What you want?
My name's John Marston. You wanted to speak to me.
I did?
Apparently so.
Why?
I guess because we're both in the business of the law.
You that fella from the train company?
No, I'm from Fort Mercer.
Fort Mercer? You them one of them Williamson boys.
Calm down.
Go on, shoot him, mister. Shoot him. Oh, what? You getting keep with me, boy?
What's going on here?
I got me one of them Williamson boys.
I got me one of them idiots who give marshals a bad name.
Oh, no. Put your gun down. You must be the man from Blackwater.
Yes,
That'd
sir.
be me.
Listen, that dog ain't too bright. But he seems loyal.
You want to get out of here for a minute?
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson, sir. And you? Oh, I done seen enough of your hide around here, friend.
I think there's some school children down the way you can go and frame it.
Oh, hardy fucking har.
What are you doing
Hey,
here,
you're the
Mr.
one that pulled a
Marston?
gun on me, dickhead.
From frightening my deputies.
I'm here to capture or kill Bill Williamson.
Okay.
Can you help me?
He's outside my jurisdiction. He's in the next county. Of course, Bill Williamson and his boys have tended to keep themselves away from my town.
So you're happy to have him out there?
I ain't happy, but I also ain't suicidal. My job is to keep this town safe, not clean up all of these 3 counties. It's hard enough around here.
You know, I hear you speak, and suddenly I'm reminded of how some of the people I respected most in my life had a problem with authority. What's wrong with you?
Well, I'm sure you and your fine friends have enjoyed spending your time running around pursuing noble causes.
Alright though,
My cause...
why don't we go ahead and go wrap this video on up? Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Red Dead Redemption on the FIREBAT Mini PC. And at first I thought, oh man, this is going to be a total shit show. It's just going to do that laggy, stuttering nonsense. But no, once you get to low 720p, it seems to be a lot smoother. Hell, you can even hit the game's max refresh rate in some spots. So, I don't know what was up with the Ally X, but this thing kicked its butt once we turned everything down to 720p low. I mean, even the Steam Deck beat it. And I mean, we didn't test the Steam Deck on low, so we don't know what it would have gotten. So we can't really compare that to this. It was still on high 720p. I was thinking about just putting everything on high, but then I was like, nah, it probably doesn't have enough VRAM for that even at 720p. I think on this kind of system, you're probably just gonna have to play at 720p with most things on low. Now, you might be able to turn a couple things here up, but I would try to stay like around 2.5, 2.6 gigs of VRAM. Anything over that, and that's where it starts to do that weird stuttery nonsense. So I think it probably is a VRAM thing. It's probably just certain things, like Windows takes up a little for sure. I'm sure OBS uses a little, especially while it's recording. I don't think it takes much VRAM, if any, while it's just sitting on the desktop. That's just normal RAM, but I think it uses a little while it's recording, because it sure looks like it does on my Afterburner window, like an extra 300, 400 megabytes, and it doesn't sound like much, but when you only have like 4 complete max, and that's not including Windows and everything else, that's still a little too much RAM. So I turned that off, and we seem to like do a lot better. Totally playable. I would have absolutely no problem playing it now. Mind you, it looked almost as bad as it did back on the 360 with the settings you have to use on this thing, but hey, if you want to play games on this thing, that's just what you got to deal with, and at least it's playable. There's a lot of games we played where put everything down to 720p low and it still stutters like crazy and is basically unplayable. Can't even maintain 30 FPS versus this. I'd much rather play it this looking like this at 100 and plus FPS, but that's just me. It's a PC. As long as you don't go over the VRAM, you can have the settings to your heart's content. But in any case, that is all I got for this particular video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.